Alright guys, we're going to be going ahead and reacting to the new animations for the 2025 Dokkan Worldwide Celebration units. Let's go ahead and take a look at the animations here. We're starting off with Goku Black. His 12 key looks very, very good. You know, the slice animation there and everything, all of that stuff coming together looks very good. And we have him doing a simple Rose Goku Black Kamehameha. Looking very spicy on that frame right there. A lot of aura farming going on with Mr. Goku Black.
To bring about the justice I desired, I needed the perfect sympathizer as my ally. In this timeline,
this is probably the best reversible exchange animation we have gotten. Looks very, very good. Alright, we're starting off with, this is Goku Black's active skill.
We are sentencing the most unsightly beings to the heaviest punishments.
Dude, that looks so fluid, man. That looks so smooth and nice. And the explosion effect too looks very, very good. There we saw a little glimpse of his sprite animation. Zamasu's sprite animation is pretty weak here. Here we have Zamasu's 12 key, his Fierce God Slicer. Some nice frames, but overall pretty disappointing that that's all it is. Kind of just 3 hits and a knockback. You know, it's a move for sure. It's an attack that he did. And we have him doing the Holy Light Grenade here, aura farming for a good minute. And he just throws the Holy Light Grenade at him. And the explosion looks pretty cool, but for the most part, that animation also looks pretty disappointing. And honestly, the explosion is probably the best part of the animation. And then here we have the active skill of Fused Zamasu. I can't look at that frame and not say it, man. This shit looks ass. Like, you go back and compare this to the Zamasu to 18 key, and it's just too similar, man. It's just way too similar. They cooked way harder with Zamasu than they did with this Zamasu. Yeah, I just have to say that. They should have done a lot better job with him, especially considering he's an anniversary unit. But that is all the animations for the Goku Black side. There is a Banner Champa unit, which is this guy who is not even on either leader skill. I don't know why he's here, but he's one of the Banner units that's coming out with the celebration. But let's take a look at Mr. Goku and Vegeta's animations here. The animation starts off really good right there, and then it's just kind of... Goku did punches! Woo! Like, the moment that this is supposed to be referencing, I feel like Goku should have been a lot more fierce in this than he was. And then, we have Goku doing the Kamehameha. Very epic. He's doing a Kamehameha of all time. Honestly, I thought he was about to go Kaioken right there for a second, but just a very simple Kamehameha finisher. Then we have the exchange animation here. Definitely worse than Zamasu's exchange animation, that's for sure.
This will be over in a second.
Definitely got the better sprites on these two units than we did on the other ones. Here we have the classic 12 key for every SSB Vegeta. Pummeling his face, and sound effects look amazing. The animation itself looks amazing. The only thing I will say is that punch looks really weak, and they should have finished off with the headbutt, but alas, everything can't be perfect. We're about to get to perfection in a little bit. The final animation is the real perfection here. But here's the 18 key for Vegeta. In my opinion, this looks way better than Goku's. Goku doesn't even freaking compete with that at all, in my opinion. The angles on the diagram, like if you're gonna do a beam, that's kind of how you should do a beam. Like the Vegeta beam looks way better. But here we have the Gallic Gun, which, I mean, it's a move, right? It doesn't look bad, but it's Gallic Gun. You know, it's father-son Gallic Gun. I wish they did a little bit better on the angles. I think the angles could have made this look a lot more hype, but it looks very similar to what we already had in the game prior. But now we're going to get to see Goku's active skill, which is by far the best animation of the bunch. This is absolutely peak, man. Look at this beauty. Look at this absolute beauty, man. eye glow right there, the freaking light shading out. You're about to see some massive peak right here. Look at this, man. Look at that. Oh my god, man. Oh, I wish they cooked this hard for Zamasu, dude. I wish they cooked that hard for Zamasu. And then he has the KO animation as well. That is it for the animations. Let's go ahead and take a look at the unit kits here. We're going to go ahead and start off. We're not going to take a look at Champa. It doesn't matter. We're going to take a look at Goku Black to start off, which he does look pretty good. He has 200% attack and defense. He is a Super Boss's 220% leader skill. He also gets an additional 2 Keeper Keys for obtained, 80% attack and defense, and type effective against all types for allies whose name includes Goku Black. That also applies to himself. He also gets an additional 50% up to 150 for every Extreme Class ally or Future Saga category ally that is on the team. And that will also give him an additional 20% chance to crit and damage reduction up to 60%. He also has Guard when all allies attacking the same turn are either Extreme Class or Future Saga category. Or when there's another Future Saga category ally attacking the same turn. When activating his active skill or attacking with 18 or more key, you'll get 200% attack and defense. Not attack and defense, 200% attack, and do an additional attack that has a great chance of being a super. When receiving an attack, he gets an additional 180% defense, and starting from the 4th turn from the start of the battle, he can start exchanging with Zamasu. That is essentially it for his basic kit, which, again, it's very basic, but it gets the job done. The other thing to keep in mind is that his active skill is kind of like a domain effect. He'll do a massively raised attack temporarily and ultimate damage to the enemy, guaranteed crits, and Super Bosses category allies get 15% attack and defense plus an additional 10% for Future Saga category for 4 turns. That is essentially a domain effect, but it's not with a domain, so you'll be able to activate other domains on top of that, which will make it very, very strong. Then the next to take a look at is super attack effects. His 12 key is greatly raising attack and raising defense for 1 turn, doing colossal damage on lowering enemy attack. And then his 18 key, which is the special one here, is infinitely going to be stacking his attack greatly, causing massive colossal damage to the enemy, and raising ally attack by 60% for 1 turn, self-excluded. So he's providing the 60% attack support. After that point, he'll be able to exchange it to Zamasu once it's the 4th turn from the start of the battle, and then he's able to go into Zamasu. Zamasu has Key plus 7 and 200% attack and defense, high chance of performing a crit, and guards all attacks. When attacking, he gets 200% attack and defense, and Future Saga category Extreme Class allies will also get a 10% damage reduction rate bonus. And then when he has his active skill or 20 or more key, he will get an additional 200% attack and defense, and a guaranteed additional super attack. But the main thing with Zamasu is that when you're under 60% or less HP, you'll get a bonus of 300% stats and perform a critical hit that also recovers 6% of the damage dealt as HP. So if you get under that 60%, you want to be in Zamasu, but keep in mind that Zamasu does not have a lot of defense. He has a guard and he has a stat machine. But if you have that under 60%, his stats should be able to keep him alive. That's essentially the idea. So if you're above 60%, you stay on Goku Black. If you're below 60%, you go to Zamasu. That's kind of how it goes. Then the next thing to take a note here is that the active skill effect on Zamasu is massive raises attack temporarily and cause ultimate damage to the enemy, and you get Key plus 4 and 40% attack in battle. Keep in mind that this Key plus 4 and 40% attack will also carry over to Goku Black if you do choose to get it, giving him a multiplicative 40% attack buff from the active skill from Zamasu. So that will all work out very, very well into itself. And then his super attack effects is greatly raising attack and defense on 12 key, and then a massively raising attack and defense for 1 turn on 18 key while doing Mega Colossal and recovering 20% of his HP. That is Zamasu's entire kit. I did go ahead and run their calculations already. So let's go ahead and take a look at what their stats are looking like. So they have, after their hidden potential, they have 12,875 defense. They're on the 220% leader skills. And then considering all their kits and everything, Goku Black, when he receives an attack, will be at 1.3 million defense with guard and 60% DR, which is very, very good. And then on top of that, post super, he's at 1.74 million defense, and then he gets 402k defense per super. And then if you have his domain active as well, he's at 1.6 million defense pre-super, 2.1 million post, and for every super that he does, he's getting 502k defense after that. So very, very solid here for Goku Black, having this much defense with guard and 60% DR. Let me just double check on that guard, actually, because I know we just read it. Just want to make sure that he does. Yeah, he has the guard. So that is very good for 60% DR, guard, 2.1 million defense. That should be able to get him to damn near everything. Even the 1.6 million defense is still very, very good. he most likely will be able to slot one for his team, but we'll see how that is once we do get to testing. Now, Zamasu, on the other hand, Zamasu's coming out of the gate. He has no pre-super effects, essentially, so he's only at 271. So if you're going into any AoE stages, Zamasu will get you cooked. However, post-super, Zamasu is rocking a 2.2 million defense with a 5.4 million per super, and remember, he has a guaranteed additional super. So that is very, very strong already, but keep in mind, he only has guard and 10% DR. That's the main thing. He loses a lot of his DR when you go to Zamasu, and you trade it for the healing that he has. Now, on top of that, the other thing is when you're under 60%, Zamasu goes kind of crazy. When you're under 60%, Zamasu's defense will jump up to damn near 4 million. If you put some defense skill orbs, he probably does reach 4 million. And per additional super, he's going to be getting 1 million defense pretty much. So if you're under that 60% threshold, this guy's going to go absolutely insane. And he's going to take the benefits of Goku Black stacking as well. And his offense is going to be crazy as well if you are getting the active skill bonus or the domain bonus from Goku Black. Either one will be absolutely crazy for this guy. So Zamasu on paper, while he doesn't look the crazy defensively, his offense potential does look pretty good. But that's pretty much it for this unit. Very basic, nothing too crazy. But with that, let's go ahead and talk about Goku and Vegeta. And to start off, Goku and Vegeta are a Future Saga infused fighters, keep us to 200%, 170 attack and defense leader, who give an additional 50% HP attack and defense to characters who are bonded parent or final trump card category. So pretty good leader skill, pretty vast there. Would have, preferred not to have another Future Fighter leader, considering the anniversary units were also that, but it is what it is. Goku himself is getting 200% attack and defense basic. He gets an additional 2 per key sphere obtained. And per superclass ally or Future Saga ally on the team, he gets 50% attack and defense. And chance of evading and damage reduction up 20%, up to 60. Then he also gets a guaranteed additional super attack when all allies attacking the same turn are either superclass or when there's another Future Saga category ally on the same turn. He also gets an additional 20% chance to dodge and 10% damage reduction. Then at 18 or more key, he gets 200% attack and type effective. He also gets 180% defense when receiving an attack. And starting from the 4th turn from the start of the battle, he can exchange into Vegeta. Now, the key thing with this guy is that he doesn't have guard. However, he does have a really solid dodge chance. He's at 80%. And he also has the 70% DR, which is also very, very good. So this guy should look pretty good defensively and offensively. And that's pretty much it for his basic kit. Now, his active skill will give you a 20% permanent attack and defense buff for the rest of the fight. And the other main thing to notice with this active skill as well is it can nullify attacks that are guaranteed to hit, making it possible to evade these attacks in battle. That is the Tech UI effect. So it seems like this guy's active skill will give you a permanent Tech UI effect. So if any stages have dodge canceling, you just throw this guy on the team, pop his active, and boom, the dodge canceling is gone. I don't know if that applies on the turns where he's not even there, but if it does, that's just going to be absolutely insane. Also, like with phase changes and stuff, there's definitely some testing to be done with that. But it looks like an absolutely insane ability to have. Next, let's take a look at his super attack effects. And he has a similar thing to Goku Black, where his 18 key is infinitely greatly raising attack, and he gives 60% defense to allies for 1 turn, self-excluded. And his 12 key is greatly raising attack and raising defense for 1 turn. After that, he's able to exchange over into Vegeta, and Vegeta's basic kit is that he has Ki plus 7, 200% attack and defense, high chance of performing a crit, high chance of evading, 40% DR. He has Ki plus 3 and 80% attack and defense for himself, as well as for characters who are allies whose name is Trunks. And as the 3rd attacker in the turn, he gets 150% attack and guaranteed crit. When attacking with 80 or 18 or more Ki, he also gets an additional 250% attack and defense and a guaranteed additional super. And when activating the active skill or when attacking with 20 or more Ki, he'll get an additional 150% defense and launches an additional super attack. All of those effects are very, very good, getting 2 guaranteed additional supers with a pretty solid chance to crit as well. And he does have, like, not the worst defense in the world. He has 40% DR and high chance to evade with some pretty good stats. So he should be able to put up some good work with that. And his active skill effect is going to be right here. And he essentially has the domain effect where he gets to guard all attacks and Future Saga category allies, get 15% attack and defense, plus an additional 10% defense for characters who are Bond of Child for 4 turns. For those 4 turns, his Vegeta should be damn near indestructible because he's getting guard, 50% dodge, 40% DR, insane stats. But again, keep in mind, a lot of his stats are post-super, so you still probably do not want to slot 1 him, and he should put in some work for you. As far as the SA effects go, he is massively raising attack and raising defense for 1 turn on 18, and greatly raising attack and defense for 1 turn on 12 key. That is essentially all of Goku and Vegeta's kits. Let's go and take a look at their stats. Here we have Goku and Vegeta's stats. So the Goku side of it is looking pretty bare bones, to be honest. He's at only 1.2 million with 282 per additional super. But again, he does have 70% DR and 80% dodge. So theoretically, he shouldn't be getting hit. And even when he gets hit, he shouldn't be taking too much damage. And he does have around 1 million defense prior to supering. So he should be able to get you through for the most part. But on the hard content, I could definitely see this guy getting kind of blasted. Then when you do pop his active skill, he'll get additional defense buffs. So he'll put him at 1.13 and a 1.4 post super. Still, it's not the greatest. It's not bad, but it's not going to be the greatest in terms of the defense stat. Really sucks that Vegeta doesn't defense stack, because if he did, you could defense stack on Vegeta, and then that would make Goku a lot better. But that is not the case here. However, going over to Vegeta, Vegeta out of the gate, post-super will have 1.4 million, but only 284 pre-super, with an additional 558k defense per super. And then when you pop his active skill, getting that temporary 4-turn buff, he'll be at 355 pre, with 1.8 million posts, getting 710k per additional super. And remember, he does do 2 guaranteed additional supers. That's an additional 1.4 million defense. So he does look like he's going to be absolutely insane. Both of these units do look like they have potential to be absolutely crazy. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on the comments below. With that being said, this is Kaizer signing out.